Hello, good afternoon. So this afternoon, I was tasked to deliver this topic, for the part two for the human resource management process. So earlier, we had been introduced and to get more about the definition of the human resource management itself. This time, we'll be dealing also with the process of the human resource management. All right. So for the topics to be discussed, we have here the competency-based HRM for the human resource management, knowledge management, and the high-performance work system. So what is HR process? So when we talk about process, it refers to the fundamental strategies that HR leads implement to ensure successful employee life cycles and work experiences. No? It's a logical and a systematic approach wherein it has to undergone series of steps from step one up to the step two when we talk about the processes. So for the core of the HR process include the human resource planning, recruitment, selection, hiring, onboarding, training, employee relations, performance appraisal, benefits administration, performance management, and offboarding. So all of this core is sa pagdaanan natin. Alright? So maliban na lang sa human resource planning. Okay? As an employee, we undergone from the recruitment up to the last core of the HR process, which is offboarding. Okay? The human resource planning, it's referred to the internal of the human resource management department wherein doon sila gumagawa, doon sila nag-strategize, doon sila nagpa-planning of what would be they could apply to their company or organization, to the workforce itself. So why should HR leaders care about HR processes? So HR processes serve as the arteries of an organization. So basically, when we talk about arteries, it's on the human body, dun dumadalo yung tinatawag nating dugo. In other words, the HR serve as the carrying lifeblood to every department to nurture company-wide health. Through a systematic approach, HR leaders can promote processes that flow efficiently and harmoniously, thereby boosting employee, including dito yung productivity, retention, engagement, together also with the job satisfaction. So what can HR leaders do to effectively manage HR processes? HR leaders, as you can see on the slides, we have here review objectives, let automation do its job, implement a process management approach with balance, and listen to employee. So when we talk about review objectives, HR leaders should regularly check the process objectives align with the greater company goals. No? Kasali po dito, it's include also the reassessing through asking a series of goal-oriented questions like, are you a team player? What can you contribute to the organizations? Are you a goal-oriented individual? Which may assess and may identify their applicants of a well-driven individuals of what they can contribute to the organization. Okay? So when we talk about also the automation do its job, HR tech automation enables the processes to function with fewer kinks. For instance, instead of writing down an infinite number of items on to-do list for each process, employee and managers can use task lists. So each of the employees has its own task to execute, has its own duties and responsibilities to do. Okay? So just like with the rank and file, iba yung ginagawa ng rank and file. Same time also, iba naman yung ginagawa ng managers and supervisory. In terms also of the implement process management approach with balance, evident, based management method can boost the productivity of HR processes. Okay. When we talk about implement, so evidence-based management method can boost the productivity of the HR processes, consistent improvement, and redesign your practice in an organized fashion. While a framework provides structure and guidance, HR deals with humans, so it must preserve and essential human qualities within the process. Just like what it's very much important also that in our organization that we have to see, we have to look for our employees that they are a special asset, are a vital asset of the organization. Okay, let's listen to employees. So listen to employees can provide wellspring of advice, information, and experience about how HR can better adjust aspect of the process. It's also important that we give voice and we give time to those employees at the bottom of the organizations to speak up and to give their to share their knowledge that will help the organization or its operations. Okay? So how can well-managed HR processes improve company culture? Smoothly, no, with human rankings as the most valuable assets of any company, so the proper progressions of the employee life cycle is matter of company survival. Okay, so nakasalalay sa mga empleyado ng isang organization ang success, no, ng isang company's operation. So that's why we really have to give importance. We really have to take good care of our employees. Okay? So HR processes that flow efficiently drive results that encourage employees' job satisfaction, engagement, and productivity, key elements of the robust company culture. And at the same time, also in our organizations, it's very much important that the human resource department should create a multicultural diversity. So what does it mean? You will hire different applicants coming from various race, from various culture, from various with its gender identity, with sexual orientation, when it comes to the racial, when it comes to its religions, because all of those individuals has a huge contribution for your organization. Okay? So earlier we've been introduced also when it comes to the definitions of the human resource management. But to get back now, HR process is a strategic approach which helps the business or the organization to achieve the competitive advantage by maximizing the performance of employees, including here yung tinatawag natin performance appraisal. It indirectly contributes achieving the goals of the organization, whereas human resource management process is the term which implies selecting, recruiting, training, and appraisals of the employees, providing orientations, benefits, compensation, security, safety, and compliance with labor laws of the particular country of the government. So what are these processes? No, from its selecting down to its compliance with labor law. First here is, as you can see in the slides, we have here the process. Now includes the following. First, the recruitment. So recruitment is one of the most significant part of the HRM process. No? Recruitment process of a company depends on the human resource management, which issue recruitment notifications through websites, newspapers, and articles that we usually saw on, it's either on the social media or in the jobstreet.com or let's say trabaho.com. Those are some of the websites wherein we can see actually the job vacancies. No? And when we talk about recruitment, there are two types actually of the recruitment. We have the internal and external. So in terms of the internal recruitment is when the organization recruits candidates with its workforce. Let's say the applicants will be coming from each workforce inside the organization. Like for example, there is a job vacancy of the manager position, and then there's no other qualified individual, but the next to the manager is the assistant manager. So the assistant manager will get his promotion to become the manager of said organization. Whereas when we talk about external recruitment, it's a process refers when the company of the organization recruits eligible candidates outside its workforce by issuing notifications. So yan yung time wherein we look for those candidates or applicants outside of the organizations that will fit and qualified doon sa klaseng position na bakante. Okay? Next is selection. Selection is the second step of the HR process in which an organization select candidates based on eligibility criteria, which includes knowing particular work and having particular skill, education, and attitude. So there are lots of applicants who will apply for the organizations, but of course, not all of those applicants are qualified. Right, so we see some of this when it comes to educational backgrounds, no, seeing it's the personal attitude of the employees, no, when it comes to also to the skills that they can help the organization, and at the same time has this little, at least a little experience, no, when it comes to working errands inside the organization. Next is the training. The training comes after selection to boost the knowledge and update the skill of the selected candidates for the requirement of a particular job role. So from each selection, no, before you start with your um, boarding on your organization, of course you will undergo series of training. Whereas you have that knowledge already in idea when you are already on the the spot that you will execute your real job or duties and responsibilities. Next is assessing performance. So assessing performance of the employee is conducted through comparing the efficiency of the present employee in the standard which has already been set previously by organization itself. So just like what I mentioned earlier, dito papasok yung tinatawag natin na performance appraisal, no? If they will qualify for a regular position, no, or they still be on a project base, or they will end their contract. Okay, next is motivating. Motive is something that causes a person to act. In most cases, motivating comes under the clause when a person completes the task, he will get a reward of increments. Just like, for example, in a car company, wherein the employee would sell a car, no? And then, of course, you will have their incentives. The organization, the company will give its motivation incentives for them, for him or her to perform again on the next task that they will do. Okay, compensating. But before compensating the employees for their work, the HR needs to assess the work carefully so that it doesn't negatively impact the financial budget of the organizations. We usually experience this one when we are working in an organization, applying for an organizations. No, the HR department, the HR officer will ask what are your expected salaries, no, and of course, sino ba hindi gaganahan na empleyado magtrabaho without this kind of compensation? Okay, next is maintaining labor relations. Now, maintaining proper and healthy relationship with the employees is also a task of the HRM. So that's one of the example when it comes to tinatawag natin in building, no, that will help and strengthen and to create a harmonious relationship towards with your colleagues, toward with your supervisor, toward with your manager, toward with the management at the same. And it will help also for a better healthy operations of the organizations if you have a good relationship towards with your colleagues. Next is the health, welfare, and safety of the employees. The human resource management process has to ensure proper safety and healthy environment to work for the employees under the law. So that's why there are some of the law that will help the employees know when it comes to protection of the employees in terms of the health, welfare, and safety. And of course, it would be also a great um, job to do if you are working in an organization that somehow that the environment are very clean. It has a complete CR. It has a canteen. No, it has um, something else that provide the needs of an individuals and employee. All right. Next is compliance to labor law. So the labor laws such as the Mines of Minimum Wage Act, etc. So here in Region 12, we have actually the minimum rate of 318 as far as I know. But in National Capital Region, that's 500 plus, I think, no, should be in accordance with the compliance. But also, when it comes also to the compliance to the labor law, it's mandated also by the government or by mandated also by the law wherein all of the employees should receive their 30th month pay before December 24. That's really the in compliance to the labor law. All right. Next, what is competency-based HRM? So the idea behind competency-based HR is to hire for a role based on the standard that have been identified for the position. You know, that's what's very ironic and stupid about in some of the organization that you will look for a qualified individual that has an already an experience, no? And some of those fresh graduates that will look for that job will be left behind because they cannot actually start immediately with the work and they cannot find immediately their job because there are some of the organizations that on their description has to be, or those on the qualification is they're looking for a well experienced and has an experience to the particular position. No? For example, in a manager, of course, if you become a manager, you might have also at least 3 to 5 managerial experience, or let's say you've been become a manager of your previous some of the organization, or let's say, for example, no, you're a graduate. If the position is looking for accounting officer, of course you want to be a certified public accountant. Okay, so it serves as the link between HR and the strategic success of the company. No, because they were also assessing those qualifications of individuals or applicants by the HR that will help also the organization. And that's one factor that will let the organization drive through the goal and objectives, whatever goals and objectives that organizations or company is targeted on. Okay. So they receive transparency, no, when it comes to recruitment, succession planning, expectation, evaluation, employers' benefits from reduced turnover, high level of competence among their team, good skill matches, and high efficiency. Okay, so combining human resource planning with business planning. So it's very much important also that these kind of plannings are aligned if an organization or a company has its goal in target. Okay, target or objectives they need to achieve in the future. It should be aligned when it comes to the human resource planning in the business planning. Okay? Because the employee has a role to play on organization's success. No, it will align your team with your resources and department strategies. No, are all working toward the same thing. It will also show any gaps that need to be filled with additional training or planning. Okay, so what is knowledge management? Knowledge management, no, actually, it's referring to an employee's knowledge management wherein it should be utilized, no, maximization and utilization of those knowledge that will help the organization whatever decision that they will make. So all of the employees in our organization has a contribution, has a role to contribute in their ideas and knowledge. Yung hindi lang nakatenga yung mga ideas and knowledge nila on their own, but sharing also on the organization. Now, the main goal of knowledge management is to improve an organization's efficiency and save knowledge within the company. So often, it's referring by training and learning in an organization or of its customer. No, it consists of a cycle or creating, sharing, structuring, and auditing knowledge in order to maximize the effectiveness of the organization's collective knowledge. So when we talk about organizations' collective knowledge, of course, hindi po pwede that the supervisor alone, the manager alone will make its decision. But also, you have to listen also and to ask for some of the advice or knowledge coming from your subordinates, no? Coming from your colleagues at the same time. Okay? So when thinking about knowledge management, it's helpful to consider the types of knowledge and how possible it's to share the knowledge within our organization. We do have two types of knowledge, of the tacit and the explicit. The types of knowledge covered within the definitions of the knowledge management. So when we talk about tacit knowledge, The knowledge came through experience. It's more intuitive, less easy to package and share with others because they do have already this kind of experience, no? No, if they will start boarding on an organization's company, start their executing their job, it will be a less hassle and less time to render and giving training because the applicants or the employee has already this type of knowledge. So example of tacit knowledge are known as innovating thinking and understanding body language. Whereas when we talk about explicit knowledge, knowledge and information that can be easily codified and taught, that really have to give training, directions, information to the newly hired individual or employee in an organization, just like simply by changing, doing the photocopy, opening the computer, doing the facts, sending some fax messages on the fax machines, and so on. Okay, these are something knowledge that can be taught or taught to some of the employees. Okay, so why knowledge important? Knowledge management is important because it boosts the efficiency of the organization's decision-making ability. So that's why what I've mentioned earlier, it's very much important that we really have to let our employees speak up, to share their knowledge, na hindi lang naka-isolate, hindi lang naka-isolate within themselves yung mga knowledge na alam nila na po pwede makatulong sa isang organization. No, and making sure that all employees have an access to the overall expertise held within the organization. A smarter workforce is built who are more able to make quick, informed decisions that benefit the company. So here are some of the benefits of the knowledge management. No, first is a more efficient workforce, faster, better decision making, increased collaboration, building organizational knowledge, employee onboarding and training processes optimize, increase employee happiness and retention due to the valuing of knowledge, training, and innovation. So what are high performance work system or HPWS? So HPWS, or the high performance work system, can be defined as a system which creates an environment in a business that allows an employee greater involvement and responsibility. So employees are seen as valued partner of the business, which makes it possible to create and maintain competitive advantage because of the commitment of the employees to help the business succeed. A key benefit of adopting a high performance work system is an increase in business productivity and efficiency. If an organization giving their 100% support to the employees, of course, the employees will do their job as much as they can. Because the motivation in an organization, especially the motivation is coming from organization, coming from your immediate superior, with the supervisor, with the manager, with your colleagues, with your family. Those are some factors that will help also, in giving importance or giving importance to your employees to execute their job well. Right? So when it comes to its adapted, high performance work system tend to benefit from having a voice. Okay? That's very much important. No, that in our organization, you have to let your employees to share, to speak up, to talk something, being well trained at the same time, more motivated and committed, that we cheer up for our employees to that they can better more in an organization, feel more secure in their roles, are carefully recruited, are better compensated, perhaps privy to key information. So again, no, that's conclude my discussion, my presentation for this afternoon about the human resource management process. For my online references, as you can see on the slides, so you may access or you may browse those. These are some of my references which I used to present my topic for this. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, classmates. Have a great day and God bless.